Okay, so what you should be working on here is you should have completed, see we have Photoshop complete, you should have posted your Photoshop tutorials as well as the 2 replies. So you're going to go through everybody's posts.
Oh, so it's supposed to be 2 replies?
It's 2 replies. To get full credit, you will have your initial post and 2 replies. And the replies must be that you did the tutorials and you upload and then post your work, embed it into the thing. You can say a little bit about it and then post your work. That is what I expect to see in your tutorials. Everybody got that? And then your Photoshop project, which you should have turned in, it should be a PSD, because I need to see your smart layers and your all of those cool things that I would not be able to do if you just gave me a JPEG, and the Word document, because you're supposed to have your documented image sources, even if they are your own images. If you are the photographer, I still want you to give yourself credit. Okay? When I'm talking, I would like everybody to at least look up here and pretend you're paying attention. It makes me feel bad when I'm looking at the back of everybody. So let's pay attention here. So the next software we're going into is Illustrator. The first thing we're going to do is pretty quick. It's logos. So I want you to go through some of these things. They're going to talk to you about how to make a logo. But before that, what I want to do is take a look at some of the world's most famous logos and talk about what makes them great. So I'm just going to Google logos and take a look at images. And a lot of these are going to be the ones that you know best. Let's see here. I'm looking for some in particular. Good morning. So let's talk about Starbucks for a second. What is that?
Coffee.
It's coffee, obviously. What is the logo?
Siren.
She's a siren. Why is Starbucks a siren? Where did Starbucks start?
Seattle.
Seattle. Seattle's on the ocean. So for where it started, it was a notable sea creature there along the ocean front. So I do want to talk to this. How many colors are in this?
2.
White and green. But just white and black don't count. You can use those. Those are kind of freebies, especially if they're backgrounds. But just one color is going on in there. I want you to look at all of these good logos here. And notice there's not a lot of colors. Let's look at Amazon for a second. What is Amazon indicating? What's it trying to say to us?
A through Z.
It has everything from A through Z, and what is it also?
Fast shipping.
Huh?
Fast shipping. Fast shipping.
Fast shipping. It could be fast shipping. It's fast. You have an arrow.
Amazing.
It's a smile.
Oh.
So look at everything going on in that. We have a smile inside of Crayola here too. Smile inside of Dannon. Smile inside of McDonald's. These are like all smile ones. Oh, logos with a hidden smile. Duh. No wonder. But yeah, so whenever you make a logo, the things that I want you to think about are simplicity, memorability, and trying to say something. So, you know, Amazon, even though it's just the name Amazon, you have everything from A to Z, fast shipping, happiness, everything in that simple little logo, right? Go back and look at some more. Here we go. Memorable. So all of these are memorable. What is the M?
McDonald's.
M for McDonald's is also the Golden Arches. The commercial used to be, "Come to the Golden Arches in your neighborhood." Do you guys remember that? Too young for that? That's probably like before you were born. But that used to be their jingle. So Apple used to have rainbow colors. They took it out now. Sadly, I like the rainbow colors. Okay, yeah, choose colors strategically. I think this is actually a link that I put in there. Versatile, timeless. What is the heck? I can't see my images. This is not working the way I want it to, right? Open image in new tab. There we go. So what does that look like? What is it first?
Beats.
Beats. What does that symbolize?
Headphones.
It's headphones.
And it's the letter
Besides the B, what is this?
The record, like
Like a music note.
A music note or a record. Yeah, it could be a record. So they're trying to say something. It's simple. It's memorable. Again, it's timeless. And how many colors?
2.
2, white, black, just really one. But okay, so that is what we are looking for whenever you make a logo. I don't want you to have a bunch of gradients in here. This is a good one. What is this saying?
Slow shipping.
Is it slow shipping?
Oh, yeah. It takes forever.
But okay, but it is shipping, and you got your arrow. You all knew about the arrow in FedEx, right?
Yes.
Have you ever seen the Arabic one?
Wow.
This looks way cool.
The arrow goes the other way. Why?
It's read backwards.
Yeah, because they read from right to left. We read from left to right, so our arrow goes from left to right. Theirs, they read from right to left, so they reverse the arrow. So moving forward. There's also things that you can think about, like this indicates motion. Let's look at does this logo indicate motion or still?
Motion.
Emotion.
How is it indicating motion?
The check is smaller.
Yeah, the check mark, the swoosh,
Mhm.
and the italics are indicating motion. So it's interesting how you can indicate motion in something as still as text. How about the AT&T logo? Motion or still? Motion. What's going on in that one? The ball is spinning. So you can see that motion because of what is indicating that to us visually is the thickness to thinness of the stripes. Same with the swoosh. We have thick end of the swoosh to a thin end of the swoosh. For us, the thicker to thinner indicates motion. Something moving away from us. So you can even look at this. Which way is this spinning?
To the left.
Clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise.
Actually, to me, it's spinning counterclockwise.
Yeah.
It's spinning. Which if you rotate it, that would be counterclockwise. Going this way, look at it, counterclockwise. Okay, oh, hypnotize myself. Okay, so those are the things that I want you to think about. as you create a logo. I want you to create a logo that is not a bunch of colors. There's reasons why things are not a lot of colors. One is because printing, the more colors you get, the harder it is to print. Now you can have things that have a gradient background for the web. I'm going to ask you in this, by the way, if we look at this logo. First thing I'm talking about is, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to indicate motion? Are you trying to not indicate motion? Are you trying to indicate trustworthiness? How do think businesses indicate trustworthiness or fun or elegant? Besides like the vector design, how do they do it?
I think with color.
With color. What colors? Give me some fun colors.
Yellow.
Green, like a bright green, yellow, bright red, fuchsia, lime green. You know, would it be good for somebody like a bank to probably have pink and lime green as a logo? Why not?
More serious.
It's more serious. You want more serious colors. So generally, like, here, I'll give you some with really serious colors. But Beats wants bright red. Why? Because it's fun, right? UPS, why are these their colors? Why are they not hot pink? What are they trying to be?
Strong and stable.
Strong, stable. So they're brown and bronze, and they're a shield.
Yes.
I like to say that.
So they're trying to be safe. Whereas, let's look up something that would be just notoriously fun. Let's look up, I don't know, Chuck E. Cheese. I don't even know what the Chuck E. Cheese logo looks like. Let's see.
Used to be.
Yeah, look at the colors in this.
What did they do to the mouse?
That mouse has always been
Redesign.
scary. My kids hated Chuck E. Cheese because the mouse is just scary. But look how garish the colors are that they use. Purple, red. What's another one? Give me a kid thing. Something fun. Huh?
Peter Piper's.
Yeah, red. You know why red and yellow?
Which
Stands
makes
out to
you
kids.
hungry.
It makes you hungry. It also makes you eat fast. Restaurants that want you to get in and out really quickly will use bright red and yellow a lot of times because you want to get in, you want to eat, and you want to leave.
Yeah.
Whereas stuff that wants you to sit longer is going to have more soothing colors. You know, if they want you to sit and have drinks and stuff, they're not going to put in red and yellow because they don't want you to hurry up and leave. They want you to stay.
So that's why I spend so much money that way.
Yeah, there you go. We are very, very manipulated through colors, through music, through all kinds of things. Scent. You know, restaurants will pay attention to that. Or like, do you know that, how many of you have been to Disneyland? Okay, you know when you walk down the main street and you go by the stores and it's blowing out the smell of candy and cookies and brownies? Do you know that's fake?
What?
That's fake. They actually like have scent makers and they blow that out in order to entice people in. It's cold, isn't it?
Is it
So-
like that at the malls too?
Probably in some, for some things, yeah, maybe at the mall.
Talk about trust issues.
Yeah, no, we are terribly manipulated by businesses. Okay, anyway, let's see. Crayola, really bright colors, not serious font. We also get with the font choices, like how serious is the font? When you have no like handwritten things, that looks a lot less serious than, you know, something that came straight off a typewriter. That looks very serious. So generally, serif font is a little bit more serious looking than sans serif font. Sans serif font, these things, this is a serif, but it's handwritten. But whenever you have things that are sans serif with without the little tabs on the side. They tend to look a little more informal. Anyway, in your logo, in your project, what you're trying, the things that I'm going to be grading on, are what are you trying to say? Are you trying to show me motion? Are you trying to show me trustworthy? Are you trying to show me fun? Are you trying to show me elegant? So whenever you think about how to make a logo, I want you to start thinking about what are the descriptors. What are the descriptors that would describe your product? So if you don't have a product that you're trying to sell yourself. So if you're trying to be your own personal logo, if you're making your own business card, like I would probably want something, I don't know if elegant and stable would probably be what I would try to go for. But try to pick a couple descriptors of yourself or whatever it is that you're trying to sell. And then think about what are the colors that I should have for this? And what kind of font should I have with this? Should I have a serious serif font, you know, Times New Roman, or you wouldn't do Times New Roman because that's too common, unless you're trying to, you know, indicate really common, but, or, you know, something really handwritten looking, or what would you do? Then the formats, let's talk about this. I want to get 3 different logos, 3 of the same logos presented 3 different ways. So I want your logo in color, I want your logo in grayscale, and I want your logo in pure black and white. Pure black and white being black and white. Grayscale being shades of gray and white, or black and white. When would grayscale be important to be able to present your logo in grayscale?
In a newspaper.
In a newspaper. So you're going to need to have it. In color, you're going to put it on the web, you're going to put it on your letterhead, but on a newspaper, you need grayscale. How about pure black and white?
Like in a document or something.
On a document. On a business card that's just printed pure black and white. That's, you know, nowadays it's pretty easy for us to get color business cards, but still a lot of times you're going to need just pure black and white business cards. So unless there's a reason that your logo is pure black and white, which probably there won't be, I want to see 3 of the logo presented 3 ways: black and white, grayscale for newspapers, and color. Now this is, the black and white is a little bit challenging because if you look at a lot of logos that have colors next to each other, like how would this logo be done in black and white?
The color would be all black.
Yeah, or they would remove this, have this be all white, or just outline, just lines. So the black and white is actually pretty challenging. Dannon, how does Dannon in black and white? Let's see. See how they changed that? So you have to kind of think about it, how they do these things. It's not as easy as you would think. Black and white, color to black and white is probably the hardest. So I definitely want to see that. Pathfinder or Shape Builder I want you to use. Okay, follow logo tips on the web before I go into that. If you go into the module, I put all of these different things: logo, rubric explanation, logo design boot camp. So basically what I'm asking there for, is it simple? Is it memorable? Is it timeless? You know, you're not going to put like a CD or something that's going out of style on here, because 10 years from now, people will be like, what is that? So, do you know, by the way, this is the first year since the mid-'80s that vinyl will outsell CDs. So what you grew up with CDs, probably your kids are going to be like, Mom, what is that? Dad, what did you do with this thing? You know, it'll all be Spotify by then. So you look at the stuff that'll be gone by the time you're grown up. That'll be one of them. Well, you're grown up now, but you know what I mean.
My
Okay,
nephew
let's
doesn't
talk
know what a
about
cassette player
pathfinders.
is.
Hmm?
No, my nephew doesn't know what a cassette player is. And whenever he looked at me and asked me, I'm just like, oh man.
I have a picture of my kids, of my daughter and her friend looking at a turntable, an old turntable. And they didn't know. One of my favorite things, videos ever, is of people trying to dial a rotary phone.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
kids
that was
your
funny.
age trying to dial a rotary phone.
That was funny.
And they didn't know how to do it. It's pretty funny. Yep, but there will be things that will be different. Okay, so let's talk about the last thing on here is using Pathfinder. You can use any style you want here. The thing with Illustrator is that it is vector. It is vector based. So you can make things teeny, teeny, tiny, or you can blow them up and put them on a billboard. It doesn't matter. They're not going to pixelate like Photoshop will. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to create one here. And Pathfinder or Shape Builder, let's say I want to have, well, let's talk basics about Illustrator, then I'll get into Pathfinder or Shape Builder. So this is vector drawing. How many of you have learned about vectors in math? Nobody's taken math with vectors? Yes? What's a vector? Don't remember. It's a line, basically. So this is all about lines. So it's strokes or lines and fills. So I just drew this rectangle. Right now you can see it has a white fill, which I can see down here, and it has a orange stroke. So you can't really see very well there. So let me make the stroke a little thicker. Right now my stroke is 1 point. So I'm going to go up, make it thicker. I can change the color of the fill. So these are the colors. This is your stroke. This is your fill. This is if I want to make it a gradient. Actually, what you have to do is get your colors and drag it down on there, because right now it thinks that my gradient is grayscale. See, right now it's saying that this is grayscale. I'm in color, so it's only giving me those options. So I have to go in here and change it to RGB, and now I have different color options in here. So now I can play with my gradient. But should we be using gradient in logos? Probably not. Every once in a while you'll see a logo with a gradient, but that's how you do it. It's solid, gradient. We'll talk more about gradient later. And this is your stroke. So everything has a stroke and a fill, and that's basically how you use it. And then these things up here are all of your drawing tools. So the Pathfinder is a window. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open this up. And let's say that I want to cut a star out of this square here. So the Pathfinder is the ways that you combine different shapes. So let's say I have this. You know what? I need to change the color of this thing because this is just really hideous. If I want no stroke on it, I'm going to click this. I'm going to hit none. So now there's no stroke on these things. None. Okay, I'm going to hold these two together. So on the Pathfinder, I can decide how do I want these things to combine. So let me move the star up so you can kind of see them both selected. I can merge them together, and now it's one shape. I can cut it out. So these all do different things. This merge and this merge are the same, I guess. So the ones that I most commonly will use are merge and minus front. So like say I want the star to almost be cut out because I'm in Texas. So let's make this red instead of. Or if I wanted it to be a bank, I would make it blue, I guess. There, that could be a logo of something here in Texas. I can totally see that being a logo in Texas. Simple. That's the Pathfinder. Shape Builder goes like this. Let me move this bad boy out of there. So Shape Builder does similar things. It's this tool right here. So I can go in and let's say I want these two things to be together. I'm going to take my Shape Builder tool, which is this right here, and I'm just going to drag. Oops. I probably have to have both of these selected again. And then I take my Shape Builder and I just drag. And there it connected my shapes. To me, there's no purpose for Shape Builder. I prefer the Pathfinder. Because what it just did here, I could totally do with my Pathfinder. I guess I have personally yet to find a purpose for it beyond what I can do with my Pathfinder. So, but you guys might. So you may want to try playing with the Shape Builder. I prefer my Pathfinder. Okay, and that is all there is to the logo project. Let's talk a little bit about drawing in Illustrator before we go on. How you can make things. The easy way to make logos is with shapes and just to go in here and play with shapes. But you could also draw. So ways that you can draw, or you can use your paintbrush. Right now I have a black stroke and a white fill. So that's not bad. I don't know what it is. It's what, an elephant maybe? You want to know what's the coolest thing about Illustrator is? Everybody in here who thinks of themselves and thinks, I can't draw. You'll be able to come up with things that are super cool in Illustrator. You'll think, hey, I can draw. It may not be realistic, but I mean, this is cool looking. I don't even know what it is, right? So a lot of cartoons and things are very simple drawings, but they're still very powerful. So, okay. So that is one way to draw. Another way to draw is with the pen tool, the Bezier pen. So back in the day, this is the way all drawing was done. Not so much anymore. What you can also do is you can bring something in and put it behind, trace over things if you want. We are going to do actual tracing in here using the trace tool, but not quite yet. Okay, so that's the way that you draw in Illustrator, and that's really all it is. It's you're drawing, you're creating strokes, which are the outside, and you're creating fills. And that's how Illustrator works. And it can do all kinds of fancy stuff beyond that, but that is the core of it. Another thing you may want to start thinking about, just for fun, if you want to be able, if you want to play with some of the things on your phone, like say I want to get a picture of that. I want to have a coffee cup in here. There's Adobe Capture, which is an app in your phone. And I can go in and I can take a picture of this. Okay, stop. This is actually getting my colors. Oh. So I want to tell it shapes. So I want the shape of that cup. Somebody's water is in here, I'd lay it on its side. And I can take a picture of it. And then I can go in and erase this because I don't want stuff in the background. And if you're logged in, there's a whole, by the way, there's a whole bunch of fun apps to play with. Anyway, I can erase everything except for the cup. And if I'm logged in as myself here and I'm logged in as myself on my Adobe, this picture will show up in my library. You can change how much line you want. Guess it's not really working on the cup. You can see down here how much the word is showing up, I guess. This also works for colors, by the way. So say you're out and you're thinking, oh my gosh, that sunset is so beautiful. I want those colors. Pick colors on this. And then you aim the camera until you get the colors you want. You can even click on things to get it. And get the color palette from whatever it is you're looking at. And then that palette, if you're logged into this and logged into Adobe, it'll show up in your Adobe account. So very cool things to play with. Adobe Capture. There's all kinds of stuff in here. If you get in, if you do have the Adobe account and you like to make videos, Spark Video is fun. Spark Posts, all kinds of stuff. Like, I just ruined your weekend, basically, because you'll be playing with this stuff all weekend. Okay. Okay. So that is the logo account, or the logo project that is due next week. Any questions on that?
So when we save it, do we have to do it as a zip as
Oh,
well?
when you save it, good question. I want you to do File. Wait, actually, there's different things here. Save as and EPS.
Yeah.
And what that is an encapsulated postscript, which means it is maintaining its vector qualities. It means that if I want to take this thing that's here and I want to blow it up big and put it on a billboard, I can do that because it's not rasterized. I'm not changing it to pixel by pixel by pixel. Because when you rasterize something and change it to pixel by pixel by pixel and you blow it up, you see all the pixels. We don't want that. We want to keep it in a vector format. So logos and things like that are generally going to be delivered in an EPS format. And that way people who do not have Illustrator can actually see it. And they can use it on their business cards or letterheads or anything. So whenever you deliver a logo to a client, you would deliver it in EPS format. Now this, if you go in and you export, this is when you're going to see rasterized things. Ping is a rasterized format. Bitmap is a rasterized format. JPEG is a rasterized format. I don't know how you would put it in text. Target is rasterized. So that's the difference, is like, why are some things, why do they have different things in save as versus export as? It's because if you're in Photoshop, you're going to have your save as, and it's going to be all those rasterized things that are very similar to the PSD format. It's kind of the degree of change it has to make in order to save it. So in this, JPEG is down here in export as because it has to do a lot of changes to put it into that rasterized format. Whereas JPEG may be in save as, I'm not sure. It's lost, so I'm not sure. But it may show up as save as in Photoshop since it's a rasterized format. It is compressed though, so it may show up in either of those places. But that is the difference. So yeah, give me the EPS. Any other questions? Okay. So I'm going to give me a few minutes to download your projects. Go ahead and start getting in there and playing with the PS or with the Illustrator. Oh, also, it's not here, but you will see you have color theory, which has some videos here, I think. Here's a video. It's in the next one down. A video, I show you how to build a color palette, which is pretty easy. You can build color palettes with color.adobe.com. You could take a whole class. If you were doing a Master's of Fine Arts, an MFA, you would probably take a whole class of color theory. I do not have the time to teach you a whole class of color theory, so instead I give you this tool, color.adobe.com, and this lets you build a palette with different types of palettes here, so you can kind of learn what they are. So let's say my favorite color is blue. My favorite color is this central color. So I want to build different palettes around this central color. So I could do a triad. Triad is going to spread these things out on the color wheel. Complementary is going to put them across on the color wheel. So you can drag these things around a little bit to be more spread out. But this color wheel is basically, it's a rainbow. Whenever you look at a rainbow in the sky, this is the way colors are broken down in the sky. And it's what all color theory is based upon, because it's the way our eyes perceive color. And you can build different palettes. You can also, oh look, you can extract them from an image. That's kind of cool. You take a picture of a rainbow, maybe you can extract them from there. But you can sign in and you can save these things, or you could say, I want ice cream colors. And see what other people saved as palettes called ice cream. Kind of fun. That's not ice cream, that's Jell-O. I don't know who took that picture. But yeah, so you can get where, you know, psychedelic. Let's say 1970s. So these are palettes that people pick for. Oh, this is the 70s right there. That's somebody who lived through the 70s. So I want you to go through and do that project, which is due by the 24th. So you have 2 weeks to do that. But this, it's nice to go through and kind of watch these videos, learn a little bit about color. It might help you pick your colors for your logo. And then typography is talking about fonts. We talked a little bit about that, serif font versus sans serif font. What's serious, what is fun, what is. So here's a video and then some projects that you can play with. Gave you a link so you can create your own font with your own handwriting, which is fun. But the other thing I want you to do is we're going to start doing tutorials. So you can go ahead and find this. I have it down here in the Illustrator module, the Illustrator tutorials. But you can go ahead and we're going to do those just like the Photoshop tutorials, where you will find a very, very cool Illustrator tutorial, do it, post it in EPS format. Then a week or so after that, you'll go in and look at what everybody else did and follow theirs and reply. Okay? Just the same way we did the Photoshop one. Make sense? Yeah. So those are all the things you should be working on. Your logo is due next week. Your color theory and typography, they're online only, are coming up, due I think in 2 and 3 weeks respectively. And then your Illustrator tutorials you need to be working on as we go. You can start working on those now. It's a good way to get to know Illustrator, to get in there and play with it. Also a reminder, October 15th, October 15th, there will be no class. It may be online only anyway, because again, I will be in Hawaii, so your class will be at 3 a.m. By then, I will have been there a couple of days, so I will be adjusted to Hawaii time. I don't want to get up and Zoom with you at 3 a.m. So, but there, you do not have to come physically into class. I will put your lesson, your class online for you. Okay? So October 15th, there is no physical class here. Any questions on what you're supposed to be doing? Okay. I will download, you guys go ahead and get busy. I'll download the projects and we'll hopefully have some time to take a look at them before we're done. Any questions, Jordan, online?